What's going on, guys? Geektastic Joe is here with a video game review. I'm Gilly Writes Comics, co-creator of the Galactic Rodents of Mayhem comic book, and I'm joined with
The Hero Geek, Ronald Christian here, and today we're going to be discussing initial thoughts on the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. I went ahead and just on a whim kind of just bought this game. Like, oh, it's kind of cool. I'm gonna buy it. Sure, why not? And I think Gilly, you also kind of bought it on your own without any influence from me whatsoever, right?
not at all. It kind of like popped out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game. Okay, PS5. Okay, it hasn't been really
Yeah.
much to play. I'm gonna buy this game. And
Yeah.
kind of just blind bought it.
Yeah, I kind of blind bought it too. And for the most part, I haven't beat the game, and I know Gilly hasn't either. But
Yeah.
but
For
the most part, it's pretty enjoyable. The gameplay is cool. I like the gameplay. The graphics are great.
The graphics are incredible.
But what do you think? I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay, so we all know Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I mean, the movies are incredible. I mean, if you haven't read any of the comics, I mean, the movie, kind of brings it into perspective. I think they borrowed a lot from the movie in terms of personality.
I think they borrowed too much from the movies, in my opinion.
You can definitely go there. And I think it's a pro and con. And I think just because the movies are so well received and they've done well, so I mean, I think they figure like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's kind of like, okay, we're kind of.
I get that, but I just they literally plucked their personalities from the movie and just put it in the game. They're exactly the same.
Right. So I guess so if you're a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, where you're big on the comics first, or and you enjoy the movies, whatever, that could, I don't know if that will sway your decision and if you're gonna like it or not. I know for me as a gamer, and I kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I kind of write a deep spacefaring comic book myself. I'm like, I wanted to try this game out.
That's part of the reason why you bought it, because you were kind of looking for ideas and for Grom, and I thought, you know what, you thought maybe this Guardians game was gonna like put you in the right headspace to continue writing Grom, right?
Or just enjoy it. Something. I'm always looking for some connection or just something, and they borrowed a lot from the movie. And if you guys remember the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, there's a big play on the music, right? The throwback music. I mean, it's like there's a lot of that in here. And one thing I will commend them on is the Star-Lord band.
They're awesome. They're awesome. It's funny because I've recently gotten into power metal, like a lot of power metal. It's great genre of music. I'm discovering new bands like Iron Savior and Blind Guardian and Glory Hammer. Great power rock bands, power metal bands like that. So this has its own power metal band, and they're really, really good. The original music, I want to get that soundtrack. I want to get that album.
Yeah, you can hear it on YouTube for free. I remember I was doing a long drive to pick up some Grom books, and I'm like, you know what? Let me put on the whole album, and it, from start to finish. So it's pretty good. The first song, "Hero to Zero," is my favorite song. That's on great, there.
Yeah.
And so this is one thing I did like, that they kind of did it unique, but then again, we know they're borrowing heavily from the movie, was that Star-Lord was, his name and everything is just the fact that he just loves this band. That's also named Star-Lord. So that's his name. You know what I mean?
That was a unique.
That was unique. And I think that was enough to just show, hey, this is our little version, even though it borrowed a lot heavily from the movies with the music and influences. But I liked it. Okay, I liked it. The first level for me is it was a great introduction, because again, we're immersing ourselves in the Guardians of the Galaxy. We're getting to know the characters. We're doing missions, and I think the first mission, how you're looking for stuff, and you're with Rocket Raccoon, and he kind of like programs this little one-on-one mini game against guys, like whoever destroys these like cocoon nests first or something.
Yeah.
So that little touch, like just in that first level alone, you see your HUD, you see his HUD, and you just see the counter. I got 4, he got 5, and like in that whole mission, I was literally trying to get there first to just beat him.
Mhm.
You know, like I don't know, you know, and I don't know. That was it for me. So that was just a nice little touch of character. That was just a nice little touch of, hey, you're getting your feet, you're dipping your toes into our Guardians of the Galaxy video game universe, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I don't know, Ron. What do you think? As it went from like the structure of the game, and now you go into the next chapter, chapter 2 and the
That was
3.
that was well done, and this is stuff I enjoyed. I kind of wish they would have not gone with the more militarized version of the Nova Corps, and I could wish they would have gone with the more Green Lantern version, like in the comics. It did the same thing they did with the movies. Like they're more like a like actual literal space cops. They're not, in the comics they're a little bit more unique than that. The Nova Corps. So
yeah, that was one thing you didn't like too much on how they handled that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't love that. Okay.
What else? What else?
The talking. The talking. There was way too much talking.
There's a lot of talking. That's it. This is where it's like, you know what? Let's just say this. It could have been so bare bones, right? When you think about the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, like it could have just been like not enough character development. Here it just oozes, right? It's just like it's like the best way to describe it when you go into the formula of the game, because I played up to chapter 6. So I I put some hours into the game. It's like you're a tour guide into this universe, and you're kind of tethered to that, and you're tethered to the narrative. And there's not so much freedom, I think, as far as the game to be something really unique. Again, I didn't finish it. Maybe things change, but I would have loved if it would have been more Mass Effect-y in the completion of everything. Like in Mass Effect, you get to these locations, you can kind of like go around and explore certain areas. It's not like you're kind of, contained. I feel like in Guardians of the Galaxy, you're contained. Any area you go is so linear. Like you can't really go that far. In Nowhere, it expands a little bit, but again, it's still somewhat contained. I think in Mass Effect, you could go, hey, well, we can go to this planet if you want to do this planet first. Our mission is here, but we could just take a detour here, go here.
Yes,
here,
that would have been very cool.
And when you land in the planets, you explore, you shoot. Like
it would have been cool if you could have picked up side missions, like, oh, this is bounty over here that this character has. You can go and pick up that bounty, and and then that way you could have had more. You could have had more characters from the comics in there, just cameos by other characters,
So maybe. I think they played it super safe in that regard, and where you're just kind of like handcuffed to the narrative, and even like the dialogue choices. I don't know how much they change, but they're funny. I'm gonna tell you one thing: this game, as much as we're knocking it on the the lack of freedom.
Yeah,
the narrative is funny. Rocket Raccoon, I love him as a character, and there's a point where. We'll spoil it right now. I think I don't know if it's a second chapter or something where you're just trying to traverse and you're trying to get further in, and you're trying to reach this kingdom and whatnot. Drax literally wants to fling Rocket across this chasm or something.
Yeah.
And you can either sign off on it or not. And in the beginning, I'm like, no, we're going to find another way. And, you go, okay, you just find the other way and you just traverse a little bit more. And
then it happens again.
It happens again. And me, I said, fling his ass. And he fling him across, and he gets so pissed off.
Yeah,
I don't know if you don't fling him. Like I don't know. The second time I flung him, and I'm dying laughing. So I'll give the game that. As far as character and everything, you're getting a good story. They're building the lore.
I kind of wish they went a little bit more unique with their characterizations, just a little bit. And I kind of wish there wasn't an overwhelming amount of talking when you're just in the levels themselves.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's talking where you have some dialogue choices. I don't know how much that can play. I know when you meet one of the girls, I think it's your daughter and your love interest, where there's kind of a little bit of choices there. I don't know how much you can play around with there. I mean, you could replay the level, see if there's any vast different outcomes. So I don't know if it's Mass Effect in that way, but it is where each level you do, there's such a fair amount of talking where you kind of just want to be left alone in a way. I mean, I'm a gamer. I mean, I love the story and it's what drives you.
Yeah. And the thing about that is that I feel like if I want to pay attention to it all. Like I want to hear all the dialogue options. I want to hear everything that all the characters say, and and the thing is though, if you move forward, then they just kind of cuts out the dialogue. So like, oh, I wanted to hear what he was gonna say.
Yeah, you can't go too fast. You kind of just got to go with it and take it in. It's kind of like a walking sim in that way, not so much because it's third person. For what it's worth, when we do get to the fight scenes and the action, the fighting, the game, the gunplay, I think it's awesome for me. I don't know if the combos really mean anything. I think no matter what, if you're killing everything, like you're gonna get a lot. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of fun there because I was having fun in the mission with the Nova Corps where you got to shoot off the things that's locking in the ship, the harnesses, whatever. You got to shoot them off. I wasn't in a rush to shoot them off because there's so many. I was just having fun just shooting stuff. Mm-hmm. Then I realized, okay, I was trying to do that, and then I died, and I'm like, and it was fun, but I'm like, let me just see what happens if I just go straight and shoot the harnesses without trying to kill anyone. And I shot and I got them off so fast that the mission continued. So, I think for what it's worth, I'm enjoying it, and I like the story bits, and I think for an entry game, I think it's great. I think that it could be a little better in the freedom part, letting you do a lot more. And I think if it becomes a sequel, I think this is where we need to see some evolution with this, and go towards a little Mass Effect where you can have a little bit more freedom, have a little bit more, freedom in how I want to, side missions here and there, and not so handcuffed to the narrative. And I feel like I like linear games, but it's just, I don't know. I think you got to find the right balance of Guardians of the Galaxy. I think there got to be a balance.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. There's some missed opportunities here.
All right, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's okay. I think it's really good. I think what they could do better is, like you said, just there's missed opportunities there to just add a little bit more freedom, not handcuff you so much to the linearity of everything. But hopefully we'll see that in the sequel if we do have a sequel, because again, it's. The talking is great and it adds character, but again, it's like you're a tour guide in here. It's just like nothing, like there's no sense of, hey, this really means something. This matters. If I lose, it's like, you do it again, and it's just okay. Walk through the same motions. It could have been where you get really lost in this world, but again, because what the budget is and what they're doing, it's a major focus on the narrative, and I get that. But I think if they take the reins off a little bit, with the little space exploration, because they have a moment where you're controlling the ship, I think it could be spectacular.
And hopefully they'll do that in the second one. If they do a second game, that'd be good.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts. Are we just being too critical? Are you enjoying it so far? Do you think like they could be a little bit more freedom if it's too linear? If it's too close to the movie? I don't know, guys. Definitely let us know your thoughts. We're enjoying the game. We'll definitely have a spoiler rant on this game once we finish the story, and we'll comment on our thoughts on the story and if where we think the game will go. But let us know what you think. Geektastic Duo, Guardians of the Galaxy video game review. We definitely recommend picking it up, but know that it could be a lot better. There's a lot of missed opportunities. So if you could get this one on a sale, bang it up on a sale.
Yeah,
don't pay $59.99 for it. I wouldn't. No. Even when I bought it secondhand.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys. Till next time, geek out.
Geek out.